Hello friends, Jerry Rosa here in the Rosa String Works workshop. I've got, I believe, 4 projects that I'm just going to give you kind of a status on. Here's the Thomas Mandolin. All the finishes have been applied. It's really looking pretty now. Let you see the rows up there, close, and the back. I would say the finish at this point is pretty close to an A. After I buff it out a little bit, I think it'll even be better. There's the back of the neck. It's a really pretty mandolin. I just know it's going to be an awesome sounding mandolin. And so anyway, that's the status. I'm going to give it about 1 more full week to dry. It's been drying for almost 2 weeks now. And so I'm going to give it about 1 more full week to dry, and then we'll string her up and do a little sound test with it. I've got some other projects I'm going to show you here. You might recall from another video where I built this fret wire bender. I've added a base to it. I just thought I'd just show you that as an update. So I can set it on my table now, and it works really nice. It's very heavy, so it's easy to use. Okay, that's another real quick update. Then we've got a pile of parts here. I'm building another mandolin for a fellow out in St. Louis area. Got it pretty far along. You can see I've got the top all carved to specs, and if you don't recall or haven't seen my videos before, I carve them to the exact specs of a Lloyd lure that I took apart back in the mid-90s. I wrote down all the specs in thousandths of inches on the thicknesses and everything, and I carve it to the exact specs. I mean, it's really, really close. And that was one of the best sounding lures ever. And it was just recently played on the Grand Ole Opry not too long ago. That's the top and the sides. Here's the back, and you can see I've already got the rows carved in the back for this mandolin, and we'll be putting that together here before very long. But before I can put it together, I've got to build the neck, and you can see I've got a wad of clamps here on the neck. The neck is just roughed out by the bandsaw at this point, and so I've got a lot of work. I'm presently gluing the ebony to the top of the peg head so that I can trace the profile and cut the whole thing out all in one piece. And I'll be doing that very shortly. Got 2 more updates for you. I'll give you an update on the Mystery Gibson. We have stained and put the first coats of lacquer on the Mystery Gibson. And at this point, I would call this about a C on the finish. Mostly because it's just the very first coats and it's soaking in really a lot. You can see I've got the peg head all dyed black and looking good. I still haven't heard from anybody as far as to what this Gibson is exactly. Right now I'm just calling it a J40 550 because I really don't know. And anyway, you can see the patch I put in here, but not too bad now. It's starting to fade out pretty good. You can see it if I get it in the right light, but once I get that all sanded flush and sanded smooth and put some more lacquer on it, I don't think you're even going to be able to see it very well, not unless you're up really inspecting it. So the Mystery Gibson's doing pretty good. It's been drying now for about 4 days, 5 days, and I'll let it dry 1 more day, and then tomorrow I'll do all the sanding on this. And finally, for the last project update, got a real nice old fiddle that came in the shop. It's always difficult to tell how old these fiddles are. The gentleman claims, by the label that it's an 1818 or 1813. I can't quite make it out if it's that last number is a 3 or an 8. I can't really tell. But it's an Amati copy. It's a solid back piece. It's not a 2-piece back. It's a solid 1-piece back, which is the way Amati made them. And if you know anything about Amati, Amati was the journeyman to Stradivari. So Stradivari was the apprentice in Amati's shop, and he learned the trade from Amati and then improved it with the 2-piece back and learned to carve them a little bit flatter to give them a little more volume and a little more woody sound. This one's got quite a high arch in the back here, and most of the Strad copies I've seen, which I haven't seen, well, I take that back. I think I have seen an original Strad at a violin shop, not in my shop. But anyway, they're usually carved a little bit flatter. That's one of the things Stradivarius learned, and I apply that strategy to my mandolins. That's why my mandolins are so loud. But anyway, ordinarily I would say don't refinish these instruments. However, just like on the Mystery Gibson, in this case somebody's already refinished it at least once. And they did a terrible job. You can see bubbles in the finish, and they've gone in and put pins here in the neck and pins up here, and then they just globbed finish onto you can see how it's run up here. They just globbed finish around the peg box. So it's in really bad shape. They just tore the heck out of the top up here. So I'm going to clean the whole thing up and refinish it for the fellow. The fellow that brought it to me is a full-blooded German fella, and he moved here in the 50s. And I thought it was an interesting story. I just share a piece of it with you. He was on an immigrant visa and had been here 6 months. And I wasn't aware of this, and he said he wasn't either, but it happened. He was drafted, and he was supposed to go into the Army, and he chose the Air Force during the Vietnam War. Actually, I think he was stationed in Frankfurt, Germany. So anyway, I thought that was an interesting thing. He brought this from Germany, as where he brought it from, and then he loaned it out to some people and let them have it for quite a long time, and that's what shape it's in. Oh, he was sick over it, and I don't blame him. It was a very nice violin. You know, I'm not an appraiser of violins, of fine violins, but I would say certainly $2,500 for this violin if you were to buy it in a violin shop, at least that much if it was in tip-top original condition. So after I get done with it, I'm hoping it'll be at least worth in the 1,200 range or something like that. Bring it back quite a bit. Right now, I probably would have a tough time selling it for $100. So it's in pretty bad shape right now. But we'll bring her back, and we'll give you updates on this project as we go along. Thank you for watching. Tell your friends about my channel. Please share any of my videos with anyone that you think might be interested. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.